Are you recording this?
I will in a second. I think it's ready to go. Give me 1 second. We're good.
Ready?
Mhm.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our session today, our virtual town hall series today. We are so very excited to see all of you on here with us for this session. We are excited to be able to bring to you resources around building a resume that opens the door to your next level. We know that this is a time that many of our families may be looking for work or trying to find gainful employment, or just trying to enhance their job skills and trying to enhance their resume. And so we wanted to bring you those resources today. We are grateful to have Mr. Thaddeus Shore. He is the High Point Career Center manager there in the city of High Point. And we are grateful for him and the resources that both he and his team brings to our county. And we are grateful to all of the resources that the NC Works team brings to Guilford County and to the state of North Carolina. We are very grateful for the partnership between the Partnership for Children of Guilford County and the High Point YWCA that helps to make this partnership possible, to bring topics to you, to help families and to make sure that our families have what they need to be successful. Just a quick word about the Partnership for Children. We are one of 75 partnerships across the state of North Carolina, serving families with children between the ages of birth to age 5. So we have numerous programs here in the county to assist families. I did want to give an announcement about NC Pre-K. We know that there are a lot of families that at this time, as we have just learned the plans for Guilford County schools going forth for this school year, a lot of you may have questions about NC Pre-K. I do want to ask parents, if you have any questions about the program, please see our website. It is guilfordchildren.org. And there you will see a link where you can actually send an email to our NC Pre-K staff to ask any questions about the school year to our staff, and they will respond back directly to you. So again, you can definitely see our website is www.guilfordchildren.org to see where you can actually ask a question to our team, and they will respond back with you as soon as possible. Now I'll turn it over to Ms. Priscilla Bravo with the High Point YWCA.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Misha and Mr. Shore. We appreciate everything you do for the community, and I just wanted to remind everyone to please check out our social media websites on Facebook for the YWCA in High Point and our Instagram as well, to look for future workshops that we're going to be doing today. Hopefully you use this as knowledge to help you build your resume and to start looking for new jobs. Thaddeus?
Good morning. How's everybody? Hope everybody's well. Hope everybody's staying safe. As she said, I'm the manager of the High Point Office of NC Works. And today we're going to talk about creating perfect resume. Okay? So if you could turn the slide, we'll jump right into it. Keep in mind that as we're going through these, keep in mind that the purpose of the resume is to get you the interview. The resume will not get you the job. Once you get the interview, it's up to you to sell yourself so that you can get the job. But the resume is to make you stand out so that as they're reviewing candidates, they see something in your resume that says, wow, I have got to know more about this person right here. And so then when they get you in front of them, then they give you the opportunity to show how wonderful you are, you know, how dynamic you are, so that you are the right person for that job. Okay. All right. So keep that in mind as we go through all these slides. The next slide, please. The next slide deals with resume formats, and there are 3 basic types of resume formats. There's the reverse chronological format, and that is the most popular one. That's the one that we show the last place that we worked first, and then we go backwards and show our history of our work relations like that. The other one is a functional skills-based resume format, And that's for if you lack relevant work experience because you're a student or a recent graduate and you haven't had a lot of experience to put on your resume, then you might want to use that format. And the last one is a combination resume format. The combination resume format is great to use for job seekers with diverse skill sets. If you have more than one skill and you want to show or demonstrate all of those skills on that resume, that's the one that you would like to use, okay? Let's go to the next slide. And this is just basic instructions on resume layout best practices. And so what you want is you want your format to look decent. You want it to look presentable. You don't want it to look like the paper is overcrowded. You don't want to look like it's uneven, like you have uneven spaces. So you want to kind of keep your resume to 1 page length if possible. If you have more work experience, it might be a little harder to do that, but definitely not more than 2 pages, right? You want to have clear section headings, and you want to have those headings identified and then maybe bolded so that they stand out. You want to have ample white spaces, especially in the margins. You want to make sure that they're balanced, that they're equal. You want your resume to look decent, and it has to be in an easy to read font. Fonts that you normally would use would be Ubuntu, Roboto, Overpass, Tahoma, Times Roman. Those are things you won't want to use. You never want to use a Comic Sans on your resume because that's going to put little cartoon characters on there, and that's not professional, okay? All right, if we can go to the next one.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I just had a question. So
yeah,
just reiterating to everyone that resume is that first impression.
Absolutely.
So even keeping it with the clean lines, the formatting is a representation of you once it gets in their hands.
Right, and let me add something else too. You don't want to overdo. You don't want to do things like there used to be a time when we would put pictures of ourselves on there. You don't want to do that. You don't want to put a picture of you on there because that might make somebody discriminate against you. You know, they might not like they might not like your photo. You know, and you don't want to put cartoon characters or different colors and stuff like that. You just want it to be professional, right? Very professional. Okay. You want to pick the right size font. 11 to 12 is usually good. And also, as a rule of thumb, you want to save your resume as a PDF form. And the reason you want to do that is that's so that you can't accidentally bring your resume up and make a change accidentally. Because I've seen that happen where people bring it up and they accidentally hit a key. And then, when they get ready to exit, it says, do you want to save changes? And they're like, what changes? So they go ahead and save it. And then they have an error somewhere on their resume. So you want to save it as a PDF format once you get it the way you want it so that you can't make those accidental changes, okay? Contact information. Contact information is definitely to be included on your resume, but things have changed as far as what you want to include in your contact information. We can go to the next slide. I think we have it spelled out there a little more detail. Yeah, exactly. This is the must-have information on your resume. You want to have your first name and your last name. That's a must because they need to know who it is they're hiring. You need to have a phone number and an email address because they need to have a means of contacting you if they're interested in you. Okay. It used to be that you would put your mailing address on there. We no longer do that because of privacy laws. Number one, you do want to protect yourself because everybody does not have good intentions, and you don't necessarily want everybody knowing where you live, and you don't know whose hands the resume may end up in. So you don't want to put your home address there because you don't want people being able to come to your house to look for you. Right. Also, Be careful with zip codes because, people that are really good, that are really statistical and that analytical, that really look things up, they can go by your zip code and tell whether you live in a high income area or a low income area, high crime area or a low crime area. And these can be discriminatory. For an example, if a company has, let's say a company in Alamance County has posted a position and they're looking for one person, and let's say it comes down to two of you, and your zip code is Greensboro, and the person that you're competing against, their zip code is Alamance. Well, they could just say, well, we don't know if the person from Greensboro is going to be willing to drive this far every day, and the person from Alamance, that zip code is right here. So, that can be a discriminator. So those are things that we don't want. You don't want to cheat yourself out of an opportunity before the person that's doing the hiring has the opportunity to find out how dynamic you are. Okay, so let's just keep it like that. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is optional information that you'll put on your resume. You can put your title. For example, if you're a doctor, you can put that on there. Your LinkedIn address, social media, you can put your social media program, your profile, your Facebook and all that if you want. If you have a blog, you can put your blog. And if you have a website, you can actually put your website. Those things are optional. Those things are optional. And unless you have complete control over what's on those things, I would not actually put them on there for someone to look at. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. And this is what not to include on your resume. You don't want to include your date of birth. And the reason being is because, unfortunately, age is a discriminator. Some people feel that for some reason that as you get older that you're won't work as hard. Well, I found that to be not true. Usually more mature people have bills and responsibilities, and so they work just as hard as anybody else, So, but age can be a discriminator. People think that if they get somebody young, then maybe they can pay them less or train them more. Also, you want to avoid unprofessional email addresses. Now, and this is serious. Like I said, as a matter of fact, as Lumisha said, your resume is the first impression actually that they're going to get. It's going to make this is how you make that great impression. And you don't want to put, some crazy email address on there. As a matter of fact, well, the one that I have on the screen is one that was somebody's actual email address. When they sat down with me, their email address was actually hotandtasty@gmail.com. And when I mentioned, I'm like, well, don't you want to put a more professional email address? And their response was, this is a professional email address. So we just left that alone and went on. All right. A headshot, you don't want to put a headshot. As we said earlier, your manager doesn't need to know what you look like in order to evaluate your application. If you can do the job, you can do the job. He doesn't need to know that you didn't have your makeup on straight or something like that. He doesn't need to know that. Okay. All right. Can we go to the next slide, please?
And these are all great tips because sometimes we don't think about how these things can eliminate you from being qualified for a position. So these are great tips here.
They can seriously can disqualify, especially an email address. If you have the wrong email address, and that's why I always say and if you have any question about what is a professional email address, stick with your first name dot last name at such and such. That's a professional email address. It can be, and think about it, you can use it for whatever, but it can also be used as a professional one because that tells them who you are. It's no nonsense. It's just straightforward,
Right.
All right. So keep in mind that the average HR manager spends about 6 seconds scanning each resume. Right. So you have to leave a devastating first impression. And if you don't, your resume usually doesn't go much further. A professional summary is a 2 to 3 sentence summary of your career. You should use a professional summary in basically any situation, unless you are a recent university graduate or switching careers. In that case, you should use a resume objective. We have gone pretty much from the objective to a professional summary now. That's what we use now, because you want to introduce yourself. Like we said, you only, the HR manager usually spends about, depending on the number of resumes that he gets, he usually spends about 6 seconds reviewing those resumes. And so in 6 seconds, you need to say something dynamic about yourself, about your skill set, to make them want to read further. Okay. You guys are aware of the that there are more computers actually reading resumes than there are people now. And so what happens is they have programs that have algorithms that actually look for phrases or words in your resume. And usually what they do is, and we'll talk about that a little more when we get down to the body of the resume, when we're talking about a job skill set or your work history. What the computer does is it's actually looking for certain phrases that have been pre-programmed into the search category. And if it doesn't see those phrases, it shoots your resume into the reject pile, and it never gets into the hands of an actual person. So that's why we want to, and like I said, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but you want to make sure that you make an amazing first impression, okay? Go ahead and go to the next slide, please. What's in your professional summary? In your professional summary, your job, your years of experience, for example, customer support representative with 5 years of experience in the industry, 1 to 2 top achievements that you've accomplished, specialize in technical support, customer care, and user retention. Also your desired goal, if you were like the employee of the week or the month or something like that, if you received a recognition for meeting goal for X number of months or weeks, those are things that you want to mention in your professional summary, okay? Anything that makes you stand out. To the next slide, please. Work experience section. The work experience section of the resume is the most important part of the resume. This is where you really sell yourself, displaying your past achievements and responsibilities. And if you can master this section, I always say you master your resume. This is real important. So it's not just enough to say, customer service rep at Walmart. That's not enough. What did you do in customer service? How were those customers impacted by the dynamic service that you provided? Those are the things that you want to include in your resume, because you really want to get their attention. Okay, to the next slide, please. The standard format for your work experience is as follows: job title, position. Your job title goes at the top, is at the top of each of the work experience entries. And when the HR manager scans your resume, you want them to know at a glance that you have relevant work experience. You want them to know that you've actually done this. Then you want to have the name of the company that you work for, the location of it, and the description, okay, of the company. You also want to list your achievements and responsibilities. And this is the core. This is the main meat. List your achievements and your responsibilities. Let them know, all that extra stuff that you've done. And you want to also include the dates employed, or the time frame of your employment. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate to the day, but it should have at least, the month and the year that you work there. Okay. Next slide.
And all of this helps helps the person apply and shine. And it is like you said, that opportunity to really sell yourself, your achievements, your work experience. This is the opportunity to really make the point that you're the person for the job.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's why I guess some people say, well, you put too much fluff. I don't, when it comes to you getting a job, can you really put too much fluff? You know, if you actually are good at this and you really want this job, you have to show them that, hey, you know, I'm really qualified for this position. I've done this before. And the thing is, if you don't have it on your resume, you may not get the opportunity to tell them in person,
Yeah.
you know? So you got to have something on there that's going to stand out.
That's right.
Achievements. One of the most common mistakes is listing only responsibilities in the work section. So you want to list achievements. To stand out, you want to focus on what's special about you. What, like I was saying earlier, if you were the top employer, you know, how did you help the company grow each quarter? How did your, you know, if you're in management, how did your team finish up each month? You know, if your team finished in the top 3 each month, then that's something that you should listen, that you should list. If your team had the best performance, then you should list it. If you led them to that, you know. Also, if there are individual achievements that you've done, if they, wow, I see a misspelled word there. It's whole exactly. It'd be how.
How exactly? That's okay.
So if you've actually you know, won awards or achievements or recognition, if they have a competition, you know, in some companies, especially customer service, they have competitions and they give awards. I've seen it where they've awarded flat screen TVs, you know, for the best performer and stuff like that. And if you've won that, list that. Put that on there. Was recognized as top performer, you know, for the month of June. During that month, for being top performer, was awarded, you know, 65-inch flat screen, you know, or if they gave you a bonus, you can list that. Was you know, received a bonus for being top customer service rep for the past, you know, 3 months. List all that in there, because that's what's going to make you stand out. Okay, next, please.
That's good.
The ATS, this is what I was talking about earlier, the application tracking system. 70% of resumes submitted to job boards are never read. That is by a person.
Wow.
Never read by a person. And getting past the tracking system is not difficult as long as you know what to do. And the key to getting past the tracking system is tailoring your resume toward the job, each job that you apply for. So what do I mean by that? I mean that, for example, if you're spending a day, and here's my thinking. If I'm looking for a job, then until I find a job, guess what my job is? Until I find a job, my job is looking for a job.
Wow.
So that means for 6 to 8 hours a day, I'm going to be online looking for jobs, submitting resumes.
Right.
Okay. Now, if I'm doing that, I'm submitting several resumes throughout the day.
I have a question.
Is your hand up, Priscilla?
Yes, so you can see, I have a question. Sorry to interrupt you. Okay, so if people are looking for jobs, then they have to be submitting different resumes, right? According to that job, not the same one. I just want to make that clear.
Bingo.
Not the same one across the board. It has to be particular to that.
Exactly. I was just getting ready to say that if you're submitting multiple resumes during that day, each resume that you submit should be different, because it should be tailored toward the position that you're applying for. You know, I can't have a blanket resume and shoot it out to 15 different jobs, because it's probably not going to get past the application tracking system, the ATS. It's probably just going to just shoot by it. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you want to do, the way to get past the ATS is to make sure that you're catering each resume toward the position that you're applying for. So there are a couple of ways to do that. If you look at the job description, if you look at the job description, the inside the job description usually are those words that they're looking for in the ATS. Okay, all those phrases that they're looking for. So, and this is what I tell everybody applying. If read that job description carefully, and if you've done those things in that job description, maybe your resume is worded differently. Well, unfortunately, because this system is based on an algorithm, it's looking for definite matches. So if your phrase doesn't match the phrase, it's probably going to overlook your resume. All right.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do, I read that job description, and if I have that experience, I will copy it word for word from the job description, just like it is in the job description. I will put that in my resume under my work experience, where I have that experience, that I will put that in there just like it is in the job description, so that when it scans it, it's going to say, ha, there it is right there. And it's going to take your resume and place it in the save file instead of putting it in the reject file. Right?
Would you also suggest writing it or copying and pasting it and putting it in white letters at some point throughout that paper, so it also scans it, so the system would also scan it?
You could do that. You could put it in white letters also, so that the system would scan it. You could.
And just so it doesn't look so obvious. I don't know. Is that a possibility?
Right, but yeah, but for sure in your work experience, make sure you list it there, and get it as much as possible, worded the way it's worded in that job description. Okay. Make sure you mention each key requirement. Like, for example, if you're looking if you're looking at a job, if it says something like, okay, customer service rep, you need at least 5 years experience. That's a key requirement. 5 years of experience, right? If it says, I don't know, if you're a call center, if you're doing call centers, and it might say conflict resolution. Must be an expert in conflict resolution. That could be a key requirement. And so if it lists things like that, then you need to make sure that you have those things in your skill set. Okay. And something else that's normally a key requirement, if it has an education requirement or work experience, and in most cases they will say education or work experience. But if that's the case, you have to make sure that you meet that. If you don't have the education requirement, you have to definitely demonstrate in your resume that you meet the work experience. And if it says, it will probably say something like bachelor's degree or 5 years work experience. And if you have that 5 years work experience, make sure that you have it documented in your resume that there is 5 years work experience. I don't have the degree, but I have the 5 years work experience. Make sure that's in there. Okay.
Wow.
Can we go to the next slide, please?
So those key words from the job description, you must use that in your resume to make sure it's picked up. And then when you get the interview, stressing those points again,
exactly,
that you have those qualities that they're looking for.
See, and keep in mind, the interview is something totally different, right? Because the resume is just going to get you that opportunity to get before them. Right. And so what happens, and let's just go through this. So you find a position that's available, you submit your resume, and when you submit your resume, the automatic tracking system is reviewing, let's say for this position that you applied for, let's say they received 700 resumes for that position. Okay. All right. So the tracking system is going and it's spitting them out, and out of the 700, let's say it selects 30 resumes of good candidates, of people that meet those those phrases that were put in the ATS. All right. So you have 30 resumes out of 700. Okay. So then what happens is those 30 resumes actually go to a person, right? So someone then will pick up the phone. They may pick up the phone. They'll call you, say, "Hey, I just saw your resume on whatever website you posted it to. Hopefully, it was ncworks.com." Cha-ching. Anyway. Anyway, I just saw your resume, and I have a position available. Would you be available for? And your first interview may be telephonic. right, for a telephonic interview. And of course, you said, well, yeah, I'm available. What time will be good for you? I'll be available 1 o'clock. Okay, so can you expect a call tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and we will call you and do a telephonic interview. And then at that time, they're going to ask you a couple of questions just to make sure, to get a better feel for you. And then they'll probably schedule you for an in-person interview. But that resume is what got you that telephonic interview.
Right.
That's what got you that first look. Okay. And that's what resumes do. They get you that first look. And understand, you have to put something dynamic in there. Seriously, if you're Priscilla, you're military. So, just put in there. I was gonna throw a joke at you, but I'm not gonna do that. Just put in there because I know how you always mess with me, Priscilla. But put something in there like your heading. Think about this, the heading of your resume. When they first look at it, your professional summary, right? Could be something like decorated war veteran seeks employment as a
decorated.
You see what I'm saying? And that grabs their attention, especially in this patriotic day and age. They're like, whoa, what did that say? Decorated war veteran, makes them look harder at your resume. Because think about it. If the HR manager is spending 6 seconds on your resume, if you can get 6 extra seconds of him going through your resume, that increases your chances 100-fold.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yes, and that's what we want.
That's exactly what you want. You want them to spend that extra 6. If they spend 6 more seconds looking at it, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right. So can we move to the next slide, please? How much experience do I list on my resume? Well, here we go. Here we go. If you don't have experience, if you don't have, if you have not, if you have not been employed, you can list volunteer time. You can list, times that, in some cases you can list, things that demonstrate your work ethic. For example, if you were a good student, if you volunteered at a hospital, you can list those things. If you're an entry-level candidate, you want to list all the work that you've done up to this interview, up to this time. And mid-level professionals, you only list the work experience that's relevant to the position that you're applying for. You don't need to go outside of that and list, if you've been in the workforce 10 years, and you don't need to list everything that you've done, but anything that's relevant to the position that you're applying for. And if you're a senior professional, you want to list up to 15 years of relevant work experience. Up to 15 years of relevant work experience, especially if you're applying for a senior leadership position. Okay. Let's go for the next slide, please. How to list your education on your resume. So here we go. Your program name, whether it's a bachelor's in business administration or whatever. In my case, it was a bachelor's in business information systems. The university, that good old alma mater there, that Michigan University, that maize and blue, go blue. Y'all want to hear the fight song? Y'all want to hear the fight song?
We'll save that for the next time.
We'll say that for the next time. Okay. All right. Years attended. Years attended. You can list the years that you attended. I put there August 2008 to June of 2012. Optional. It's optional that you put your GPA. Please don't list your GPA if it was failing, because that does not help you at all. So please don't list that. If you did receive honors, if you were the cum laude, the magna cum laude, the summa cum laude, if you were those, please make sure that you list that. Get all the credit that you deserve. You know what I'm saying? Get all the credit that you deserve. Academic achievements, any interesting papers that you have wrote, or courses that you excelled in. And if you have a minor, it's optional, but if you have a minor, you can list your minor. Okay. Next, please. tips on perfecting the education section. If you don't have work experience, mention your education first. You know,
Mhm.
if you've never worked before, but you've been a good student, mention that. Because trust me, getting out of college is not easy. You know, that's hard. That shows, number one, that you have a work ethic, that you're determined, right? That you stick to things, right? You know how many people start college and don't finish, right? So it shows that. So make sure you list that. Mention your latest education entry on top. You know, for example, if you've completed your master's, you want to mention that before you mention your bachelor's. And, you know, if you've completed a bachelor's, you want to mention that before you mention high school. You know, if you have a university degree, don't mention your high school at all. There's no point. You know, your university degree trumps your high school education. And there you go. Only mention your GPA if it's impressive, right? An academic career of 3.5 or higher. You know, I used to have a very good, it was funny, I had a dynamic GPA until I took statistics. I can't even say it, until I took the statistics. Yeah, it still scares me. I still stutter when I say it, because
I know what you mean.
it was horrible.
Yeah.
It really was. And I had to do it twice, stats 1 and 2. I was like,
Wow.
no. It was horrible. Can we move to the next slide, please? Listing skills on your resume. List hard skills with experience levels. For each skill you list, you want to mention your proficiency level. You want to show whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, an advanced, or an expert in whatever skill that you have. For example, if you're, let's just go basic. If you have keyboarding skills, right? Think about this. Are you a beginner? You know, you do like 15 to 20 words per minute. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or are you intermediate? You know, or are you an expert? Can you do 100, 100 words per minute, 90 words per minute? Can you?
Question. Is there like a website that people can go and test their words per minute abilities?
As far as, yes, there is. And it is called typingtest.com. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Huh? Typingtest.com. And you can go there and you can there's a simple typing test that they have. It will time you for a minute and it will calculate how fast you are and how accurate you are.
If we can put that website in the comment section on Facebook, I think that'll be great for any viewers that want to.
Excellent. Yeah.
That's good.
Right. And it does. It's an excellent site. It gives you the opportunity to go there and practice, you know? Okay, if we can go to the next slide, please. Listing skills on your resume, continue. You want to tailor your skills to the job that you're applying for. Take a look at the job ad and list 2 or 3 skills required for the job if you have those skills. You know, don't lie on your resume because they'll find that out and that'll get you out the door faster than anything. You know, so if you see that there are skills listed on a job, for example, we said keyboarding. Let's say, like in my field, I was a DBA, so they're looking for experience in different languages, and if you have skill sets in those languages, you can put down, you know, that I can code in Cobalt, I can code in different languages, and then again, remember your skill set. Are you a beginner? Are you intermediate? Are you an expert? You know, and do that. Also include some universal skills. Universal skills are the type of skills useful in almost any job out there. They're both soft skills and hard skills. So think about this. Are you a good leader? Do you have leadership skills? Are you a team player? Are you a critical thinker? You know, or Hard skills can be things like different programs that you use. You know, are you proficient in Excel? Do you know how to code the different formulas, to get use the different formulas in Excel? You know, PowerPoint. Can you create presentations? You know, Photoshop. You know, those are hard skills. But soft skills. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. Your finger is up again.
Okay, so what if that particular job does not require, do you still list those skills? Would it be beneficial even if they don't require it, or just leave it out?
No, you could still list them, but you can list them in a different way. You can list them in a different way. Now, if they are required, you do want to list them and put emphasis on them, right? But if they're not, you know, you can say, you can list it someplace else. You can even list it in your cover letter. We haven't talked about a cover letter, but you can even put those skills in your cover letter, you know, that I'm a dynamic team player, you know. I understand the importance of unifying the team, and you know, I understand the importance of the team winning and accomplishing the goal over myself just winning. You know, I'm slow to anger. You know, those different things like that you can list in your cover letter that will highlight you as a person. Right. Okay, even if the job does not request them, you can list them there. Okay. Is there another slide? Next slide. And I guess that was it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that is it. Yep, that's it. That's all I have. Right. Okay. So if there are any questions, if anybody has questions, we're here to answer them. If anybody has any more questions, anyway. And if you have come up with questions after this is over, you can always email me. You can email your questions to me at thaddeus.shore@ncworks.gov. Okay, and I will respond. You can always reach me at the High Point Career Center, NC Works Career Center. Okay.
And where are you located in High Point again?
We're located on 607 Idle Street in High Point. Okay. And we would love for you to come by. Please come by and see us.
Can you repeat your email one more time so we can type it in the comments box?
Sure. It's Thaddeus, it's THADDEUS .shore@ncworks.gov.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Thank you guys for having me, and it was a pleasure instructing this morning, and I hope that it was a benefit to someone out there.
Yes, thank you so much.
And let me say this, come by, there are positions available.
Yes.
There are positions available. You know, if you have a driver's license and a clean driving record, come see me, because Amazon is looking for you.
Wow.
Okay.
Looking for you. Yeah, I love that. They are looking for you. And we really hope everybody enjoyed today. I thoroughly enjoyed. I know Priscilla enjoyed. Our team enjoyed. Hope you had some laughs with us, some enjoyment, because we know this is a stressful time for a lot of folks out there. And we always appreciate having Mr. Shore with us and sharing resources and information on how to get families and individuals in Guilford County back to work. So we appreciate all that you do, Mr. Shore, there in High Point, for the folks that you are getting back in the workforce. And we do encourage any viewers who are looking for employment to definitely go by his office. And even if we have viewers in Greensboro, they can go by the Greensboro NC Works office.
Yes, they can.
Okay. So we encourage you to do that. And we hope that you got some good tips on resumes. Things have changed from when I learned how to do a resume to now. Yeah, so we appreciate all of you, and we hope that you will join us again soon. We will keep you posted on our next virtual town hall series. We have some awesome and amazing workshops coming up for you, so we hope that you will stick with us as we stick with you through COVID-19. Stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you the next time.
Bye-bye.